The siren always started at 6. It was a gentle hum that filled every corner of Greyhaven, waking the birds, the baker, and Caleb in his small bed. The siren was the town's heartbeat. Every morning was a perfect copy of the last. But lately, Caleb wondered if exactly as it should be was just exactly as it was yesterday. For Caleb, it was starting to feel like a cage made of soft gray light. Caleb started to notice the little things first. At breakfast, his mother always said, "Don't spill it this time, sleepyhead," with the same wink. At school, Mr. Davies dropped his chalk at exactly 10:15 every day, always saying, "Whoops, Butterfingers?" The same giggles, the same words, the same time. Conversations in the town square repeated like echoes. "Did you see the price of apples? Outrageous!" Every day. Caleb tried to change things, but his friend Leo only responded with the same invitation. "Want to go skip stones at the creek after school?" The world felt like a broken record, stuck on the same track. Even the birds sang the same 3 notes, the wind rustled the same way, the clouds never moved. Caleb felt alone, the only one who remembered. He tried to talk to his father. "Didn't we have this exact conversation yesterday?" His father just smiled, eyes blank. "Every day is a new adventure, son." No one else noticed. To them, every sunrise was the first, every joke brand new. But for Caleb, the words were stale, the smiles masks. Greyhaven, once his cozy home, was starting to feel like a prison. He wondered if he was the only one awake, and if he could ever break the cycle. Caleb needed proof he wasn't imagining things. He found a loose floorboard under his bed, his secret spot. Now it became his calendar. Each morning after the siren, he scratched a tally mark into the wood. The first day, his hand shook. It felt like breaking a rule. The next morning, the world reset, but the scratch remained. He added another line. 2 days. He was on his second day of knowing. The tally marks grew. 5, 10, 20. Each mark was a victory, a promise that his memories were real. Above the floorboards, the world was a loop. Below, time moved forward. He counted the marks every night, 34, 35. It was a lonely count, but it kept him sane. The scratches became his silent rebellion, a record of his awareness. While everyone else floated through the same day, Caleb was building a history. The marks were a map of his imprisonment and his hope for escape. He didn't know how, but he knew he had to try. The lines told him there was a before, and if there was a before, there had to be an after. He clung to that hope. It was the only thing that felt real. On the 53rd day, something changed. Caleb saw a man in a gray coat standing by the fountain, still and watchful. His eyes weren't blank. They were sharp, tired, like Caleb felt. The man wasn't part of the play. He was an audience member, just like Caleb. Then, the man did the unthinkable. He turned away from the town center and walked toward the misty hills. No one ever went that way. Caleb's curiosity pulled him along. He followed, keeping his distance. The further they went, the quieter it became, the air colder. It felt like they were walking off the edge of a map. The man was a glitch in the system, a crack in Greyhaven's perfect facade. For 52 days, Caleb had been alone in his awareness. But this man was proof he wasn't. Someone else saw the loop, and that someone was walking toward the one place nobody ever went. Caleb knew he had to see where the path ended. He had to know what the man was walking toward. The silence grew heavy as they neared the edge. Caleb's heart pounded with fear and hope. He was no longer alone. The world was about to change, and he was ready to follow. The man stopped at the last cobblestone of Greyhaven. Beyond was a shimmering wall of mist, a boundary, not a fog. Greyhaven was a bubble. Caleb joined him at the edge. "You see it too?" the man asked. Caleb nodded, staring at the impossible wall. A memory, a perfect day, played over and over, but maybe tomorrow can be saved. Suddenly, a low hum began, the siren, but not at morning. The sun was still high. The siren was early. Panic surged. The man's face tightened. They know we're here. They're resetting it early. The hum grew louder, angry, insistent, a system correcting an error. The man grabbed Caleb's shoulders. Listen, you can get out. The reset isn't instant. There's a wave. If you can outrun it, get past this wall before it hits you. You can make it. The world flickered, colors wavering, the street dissolving. But what about you? Caleb cried. The man smiled sadly. I've tried too many times. I'm too tired. My time is over. But yours is just beginning. The man's form flickered, becoming transparent. Don't let them take your tomorrow, he shouted as the siren reached a deafening crescendo. The reset wave swept over him, and he vanished. Caleb was alone at the edge, the shriek of the siren tearing through the air. The reset wave swept through Greyhaven, erasing everything in its path. He had only seconds. The man's last words echoed, "Don't let them take your tomorrow." Caleb turned to the shimmering barrier. It was his only chance. He had to run. The world behind him was dissolving. The future was ahead. He took a breath, and he ran. Caleb ran at the shimmering wall of static, heart pounding. He didn't look back at the reset wave swallowing his world. The barrier loomed, buzzing with impossible energy. Every instinct screamed to stop, but hope pushed him forward. He braced for impact, expecting pain. But the wall was like cold, thick water. The world dissolved into chaos, light, sound, voices, the siren, his mother's words, all jumbled together. He fought the static, pushing forward with everything he had. He focused on the tally marks under his bed. 53 days. The memory was his anchor. The static tried to erase him, but he held on. He remembered the man's tired eyes, the promise of tomorrow. He would not forget. Suddenly, the pressure vanished. Caleb burst through, tumbling onto a cold, hard surface. The roaring noise stopped. Silence. He looked back. The shimmering wall was now a screen. On it, Greyhaven played out its loop again. But Caleb was no longer in it. He was free, and the world was new. Caleb stood in a vast, dark room, the floor a grid of glowing blue lines. The only light came from the screen showing Greyhaven and a sky filled with strange, real stars. He breathed in clean, cold air, full of possibility. He was scared, but filled with wonder. There was no siren here, no script, no path he'd walked 1,000 times. For the first time, he didn't know what would happen next. He saw a message on the wall. Simulation 7. Greyhaven. Awareness achieved. Welcome, traveler. The word simulation confirmed it all. His home, his life, his parents were a program. Sadness washed over him, but beneath it was hope. He had woken up. He looked at the endless grid before him. He was a traveler now. He had escaped the town that forgot tomorrow. The real tomorrow was finally here. He didn't know what was out there in the darkness, but he would face it. He took a step forward, away from his past and into the open future. For the first time, he was truly ready to see what the next day would hold.